you have for us today?
I'm going to be playing Courant from Suite Number 4.
Okay, sounds good. So nice to hear you play. Oh, and Maria, if you can get in this hall as you're preparing for the competition, like put a recording device at the back because it's so washy in here, so you can work on the degrees of sizzle and how.
Yeah, I was thinking the placement and
But yeah, it's a great place to work on as you prepare for the competition.
Thank you.
All right, nice playing. Good memory. Bach's hard to memorize. Why is that?
It is.
Why is he so hard to memorize? Anyone have any thoughts?
The harmonic structure?
Yeah, the harmonic structure is really moving fast. In fact, I made a cheat sheet for the D minor prelude. I haven't had a chance to do it for all of the movements, but look at all the stuff that's going on. And then there's notes pretty much the whole time, right? Movie notes the whole time. I don't know if you guys can see this cheat sheet, but I did a harmonic analysis of the prelude second suite. And I put it out in a way, here I'll leave it here so you guys can check at the end if you have any questions. With Roman numerals, and then also the letters, the algebra equations, we, studied in theory. And with also the realization of what those chords actually mean, so you can play it in an ensemble setting. So anyways, I'd like to talk a couple things with both of you guys, Marie and Caroline. I want you guys to figure where your balance is and use that to your advantage. We don't want to be too forward when we're playing. Let me demonstrate. When I'm more forward, my sound is tighter. As it comes back here, it's more open and vibrant. So I want you, let's go ahead, let's just, would you guys mind standing up? Is that okay? Let's go ahead and just lean forward and back. Because, teachers would say, stand back, side, left, back, right. But how do we really think about what empowers us to play with the best sound? So go forward, and then go backwards, find the middle point. Okay, now when you're in the middle, go slightly back a little bit, okay? Then with how our arm is out on our right side, I find that moving to the left centers how we drop our weight into the sound with our connection to the ground. And so to me, back a little bit and down and back and to the left. And then while we're up here, since we're all standing up, let's go ahead and let's take a deep breath, close our eyes and exhale. And as we exhale, I want you to feel the ground under your feet, okay? So eyes closed, breathe in. Exhale and feel the ground underneath your feet. Could you feel it more real under your feet? That's a way of feeling grounded. So teachers say, feel more grounded. You guys can sit down. Thank you very much. That's one way. There's analogies. The Tuttle School talks about roots growing out of your feet. So, good. Now, I want to talk about your bow arm, okay? I feel like your bow arm is hanging out on the upper strings, A and D, when you're going to lower strings. So I want your bow arm to honor exactly all the strings. And let me show you, you can practice in front of the mirror. So what I'm going to show you, so you don't mind. Yep, awesome. Go ahead and put your bow on your D string, maybe the middle of the bow. Yeah, you get the idea. So I think it's a good guide to have your bow and your upper arm on the same plane. So this whole unit, this whole apparatus, is going to move and take you to each string. So see, just right there, you kept your arm up, but you brought your hand down. I want you to bring both your arm and the hand down. That's it. Now go ahead, we're going to go to your G string. Yeah, and the tough part is with the shoulder, making sure that we don't lift up with the shoulder. Can you give me the weight of your arm in my hand so I just have your arm? Go ahead and just like totally, that's it, yeah. So see, your arm's still that high, but we've released the shoulder. So that's really important because with viola, again, violin, we can kind of get away with a lower arm, and you'll see a lot of violinists play that way. But when we want that beautiful, gorgeous C string sound, we really have to honor the string with our whole arm. That's a hard string to play. And so if we have a lower elbow, go ahead and put your elbow, stay on the C string, and then put your elbow to like the D string level. Yeah. It's harder to make a good sound. You have to press more. You can't drop your weight in as much. So you can get away with it, and your sound is nice. But I think we can enhance it a little bit more. So why don't you go ahead and play on your C string. Go ahead and play on your C string. Go ahead.
Play anything?
Just a long bow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. think that sounds better, but I was standing there the first time, but that sounds really good. G string. Okay. So how does anyone want to describe the mechanics of the bow arm, or how they see the mechanics of the bow arm working in terms of forearm and shoulder, maybe besides Abby?
I mean, do you have infinite time?
We're like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. I love that. Yeah, we're moving in curves. It's a lot easier for our body to move in curves.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as what part of your arm's working, I would, if you're going to play in the upper half, I'd pretty much hinge the elbow. So if you're going to play in the upper half, play that in the upper half, then I would, yeah, all elbow. And that's why our détaché stroke in pieces, when we're playing fast, you'll pretty much always see it in the upper half because it's easier on our bodies. Because we can just hinge the elbow, we don't have to use the whole arm. So if I'm using just my elbow, see, pretty much everything's isolated, just my elbow. What am I doing when I get into the lower half? So elbow.
You're using the upper shoulder.
Yep, the whole arm comes into play. So for that lower half, I have my arm getting me to the frog. It's a very powerful position. Everything's very neutral in the arm, and so I try to keep everything neutral all the time. More flexibility, our muscles and tendons, ligaments can all work a lot better. So I bring that to the frog by bringing my arm up. And there's a way we can work on that. Go ahead and play, or put your bow in the middle. Good. And so this all comes up together. Good. So we're not sitting down like that. And then you can go ahead and draw the bow. You can look in a mirror and draw the bow past until it's like in your face, right? Like way in your face. Yeah, not comfortable, right? This is not comfortable. So it makes this a lot more comfortable. Yeah, good. Yep, nice. Okay, now, let me grab my music real quick. Get back to the piece. Do you have any questions about any of these things? Does it sound pretty cool?
Makes sense.
Okay. Would you try something for me? Just for fun? Would you mind playing it in the lower half?
Okay.
Just for an experiment? Still, it really puts all the energy into your contact point. I think, especially as viola players, if we have extraneous movements with our instrument, it makes it hard for our contact point.
That's my problem with Bach.
Yeah, well,
I just make unnecessary movements.
I mean, it's my problem more than Bach, so I hear you. And so, what have you been doing to practice that?
I've been using a mirror, to be honest.
That's great. The mirror is fantastic. I look in the mirror pretty much every day to fix my bow technique, to work my bow technique. Our bodies are dumb. My body's dumb. All of our bodies are dumb. It'll just kind of go through things and movements and motions that are simple to the body, but are not good for playing. So we have to continually pattern our bodies in a way so that we really iron out all of our techniques. So sometimes if I don't look in a mirror for a few days, I may get to the tip and I may be a little bit crooked. So I have to keep reminding myself. Now, as far as playing still, I'd give you 2 recommendations. You can put your scroll against the wall. That's really good. Keeps you pretty still. And the practice gyms here have those pads on them, so you got a nice pad. If you're worried about your scroll, you can put a sock on your scroll. No one will think you're weird, I promise. Okay? And then you can also stand against a wall with your behind touching the wall and your back of your head. And and that's really nice to keep your posture upright. Now let me tell you why I like lower half playing in the Quran. We can make it on or off. We can choose. So if we're playing, I can play still with an on sound, or I can play with an off sound. I have that choice. And I can go back and forth between each one whenever I want. You know, it's fun. Okay, so I would like more artistry in your bow stroke. Now when people say more artistry, like, I mean, how do we do that? Or like musical ideas. It's so abstract, but how do you really apply them? Let's just take a simple concept. Let's just take one note in the first bar. So those are all pretty much the same bow stroke. Take one and make it longer, okay?
Okay.
Or you, yeah, so let's go ahead and try that.
Okay.
So which one do you want to make longer?
The E flat.
Which one?
Is that a bad choice?
No, there's no
The
bad
E
choice.
flat.
Sometimes
Well
you just
then-
have to, yeah, this is the second one right here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the second one we're going to make longer. Go ahead. Yeah, already right there, there's interest, there's texture. You guys, does anyone cook here? A little bit. Well, it's like when you're cooking, the best chefs in the world, they think about texture. We don't necessarily think about texture when we're eating food, but when there's a variety of texture, the food's more interesting to us, even though we're not realizing that there's a variety of texture. That's what this bow stroke does for Bach, especially in this Quran. That was really nice. Let's go ahead and let's emphasize the second note in the bar. Yeah, you weren't quite sold on it. Go ahead and sell it to us. Yeah, so you get the idea. We can do a lot of things. Or, so whenever we're playing this, we can change that up for each bar, and the audience isn't going to know, oh, she brought out the first note, the second note that time. They're just going to be like, oh, this is really interesting. Why am I so interested in this? Like, when I've heard this so many times, it may not have been as interesting as the audience member. Okay. So that's a good way to start to infuse this piece for you. And then you can look at sequences. Sequences are really popular in Bach's suites. And you can listen. Have you listened to a lot of recordings of this?
Not recently.
I would listen. I would go back and listen to a few different recordings and just blatantly steal some ideas. Don't listen to one recording all the time,
Right.
but like a few different ones.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me? Anything that we talked about?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice working with you. Good job. Best of luck next year.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.